What's up, everyone? It's been a while since I did a live. So, yeah, I just want to speak on seeing the Michael Jackson film, the biopic, and also get my stand on because I did grow up with the guy, listened to him since I was a child. So, yeah, I just want to break down certain scenes from the film. So, starting out in the opening of the film, of course, you seen Mike preparing to perform on stage, and then it goes back to his upbringing in Gary, Indiana, with him and his brothers. Now, if you're wondering why they didn't show certain siblings like Reby, Randy Jackson, and Jan Jackson, they didn't give permission to the filmmakers to be portrayed, so that's why. Anywho, yeah, so you see them in Gary, Indiana, performing or whatever. And of course, you've seen Colman Domingo as Joe. The highlights, of course, is him being on mic for missing a step in the routines. And of course, you know, what I would have liked in the film, like, I would have liked them to, delve more into the Jackson 5 era. I felt like they were moving very fast, And also, like, when they got to Michael in 1978 or whatever, I wish they would have, focused on his time during the Wiz era when he was filming The Wiz, because I felt that was an important moment in the film. Hey, Prissy, how are you? Hey, brother Jay, how are you? So yeah, I felt like they should have focused on the Wiz era because that was important because that's how Mike met Quincy Jones in the film. Yeah, or whatever, while filming, and that's when they, collaborate on Off the Wall. That was a very important part to show in the film, but they didn't show that part in that film. And I'll say this, Diana Ross. Now, mind you, they did film some scenes with someone portraying Diana Ross. Diana Ross shut that down for some reason. And the chick that was playing Diana Ross, she filmed the scenes or whatever. Her name was Kat Graham. She was in Vampire Diaries. She's the one that played Bonnie. You guys remember? Hey, Concrete, how are you? So yeah, because of legal issues, they cut that part in the film. So that's why we didn't see Diana Ross in it as well for some reason. And, what stood out to me was, mainly the performances. I felt, Jafar did a good job. And there was times I'm like, is this Mike? That's how good it was. He portrayed his uncle very well. He captured his essence. He embodied Mike. And don't get me wrong, from watching the film, there's nothing like I didn't know about Mike already. Like, okay, for starters, like, I knew about the fact that Mike had, actual gang members in the Beat It music video. I knew that. I knew Mike was trying to get his music videos on MTV because at the time MTV was very discriminatory towards Black artists and refused to play their music on their channel at the time. And also, we've seen in the film Mike being teased by his father, referred to as Big Nose, and it caused him to get plastic surgery on his nose because of that. And of course, they showcase his vitiligo. Because, back in the days, people just, were kind of ignorant to that disease. They just assumed Mike was just trying to be white and making himself white, when really he was going through a condition, and he just wanted to match his skin tone. So yeah. Now, what I love, what the highlights of the film for me was when Jafar was performing as Mike, and the I'm gonna spoil some things, but it's whatever. I enjoyed that scene where he was performing Human Nature. Like, I felt like I was watching Mike at that moment. That's like, it was like, wow. It was very interesting. There was times, I was getting a little teary eyed because, like, oh wow, it feels like I'm watching Mike. And what my takeaway from the film is mainly, Mike wanting to break away from Joseph, because Joseph was like a control freak. He never allowed Mike to, like, despite him being going solo, doing Off the Wall and Thriller, he still was performing with his brothers despite having a solo career. He didn't really start touring on his own until the Bad era. And also, in the original script of the film, it was really supposed to end in the 90s, in 93. The reason why it just concluded in 1988 was, because they couldn't, portray that first allegation because of the settlement agreement. So that's why certain scenes had to do reshoots, and they had to, they filmed the part where Mike got accused of those allegations. And yeah, so they had to cut that out of the scenes because of a settlement agreement. Now, because of the film's success, we will get a part 2, which will be out in 2028. And I've heard they are going to start filming next year, because it's so much to put in one film, because Mike's life was very complex. It's a lot to keep up. It's not enough to put in just a film, because the film will go on for hours. And so, yeah, I just want to, just stand Michael Jackson. I grew up listening to this man's music since I was like pretty much at 2 years old. I discovered his music. I was raised listening to his music, as well as listening to Jackson 5 and all of that. And as a growing up, I just gravitate towards Michael because I thought, he was a cool person. Like, he came off like he cared about people and care about the environment and other people, And I felt like his songs, resonated with me. I loved his music. I kind of like felt sorry for him because he expressed he never had a childhood, and as far as the allegations against him, it's just one of them things. Like, I'm not sure. I don't want to believe he did those things, but it's whatever. But I would love, like, if in the part 2, like when they do the part 2, like, concentrate more on him. It's a lot of highlights in the 90s, as far as like recreating Scream. Like, I know Janet doesn't want to be in the films, but it's like you have to be portrayed in the film because you guys created Scream. Like, we have to see that. Come on now. And I just, as a stan, I just love to meet some Michael Jackson. It is what it is. Now, my favorite songs from him, it's a lot, but the highlight songs I love the most is Human Nature. I love Scream. I love Dangerous. That's an underrated song in the Dangerous album. I love Remember the Time. I love Off the Wall album. I love it more so than like the Thriller album. I felt like the Off the Wall album was underrated. Even though I love the Thriller album, but I just prefer Off the Wall. I like Rock With You. I like all those songs. So yeah, man, it's just so many to name because I love all of Michael's songs pretty much. And I was so like sad when Mike passed away and back in 2009. That was a shock to me. I like cried for days. Mm. So yeah, man, overall, I think the film was good, you know. I felt like they were kind of rushy, but overall it was good. Jafar Jackson did a good job portraying his uncle. And as also the kid who played Michael, he did a good job as well. They were the two highlights. So yeah, just want to speak on that. But it was cool talking to everyone. I'm glad you guys stopped through. About to end this live. Till next time. Peace.